Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Supernatural Substation. It is Friday, the 24th of November, and I'm your host, Alyne Pustanio. And with me is my co host, Bernadine LeBlanc. I'm trying to check dates. Even though I know what the day is, I'm still checking,
Hello,
Bernadine.
hello.
Help
Yeah.
me.
Help.
Look, I never could do math, okay? Never. I'm amazed that I can make change, but it took me like 50 years to figure it out. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, if I don't have it in front of me, I don't know what I'm doing. But even if I was just told it, because you guys just told me what the day was. So duh. Anyway, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. When you're listening to this, it will have passed, and um, all the turkey's been done. Dean, are you cooking a turkey? Did you cook a
Oh
turkey?
my goodness. I will attempt to do this again this year.
Defrost it, or do you have a
Eh,
fresh one?
No, I have a fresh one and it's
Oh,
already seasoned. And my cousin Danny, our guest tonight, he told me he's
mhm.
like, they do have a little button that pops out whenever it's done. I'm like, well, good to know. He
Oh,
said,
you
and
got
don't
that
forget
code.
to take the bag out because last year I did that. It was still
Yeah.
frozen. I didn't know there was a bag inside. I'm like, what the heck?
How much does it weigh?
I don't know.
Oh, well, check the weight. And you can look on butterball.com and they'll tell you how long to cook it.
Okay,
Unstuffed or
well,
stuffed. I never
yeah,
stuff a turkey.
it's unstuffed. Well, Danny, his wife's helping me out, teaching
Oh,
me how to do that. Jade left a few minutes ago to go get a bag for the turkey from Danny's wife. She's like, if you
oh,
put it, 'cause it was dry. The last one I tried, and people ate it, but they looked funny. You could tell when a person has a look on their face like, who the hell cooked this?
yeah, well,
Yeah,
they,
so this
they know
year I'd rather
sometimes.
not have that.
Yeah. Well, I hope all goes well, went well, in the past and in the present. So, yes, as you mentioned, Daniel Blake is our guest tonight. I know he's a relative of yours, but he's the only person I have met that I know. Like I've been at lectures of other people talking about it, or been in the audience and stuff. But that I know that had a near death experience. But he came back with the bonus of psychic abilities
Yeah.
and being able to basically do basically mediumship and you know telling people who's around him. I know the very first time I saw him after that, after he had that happen, or maybe it was the first time I met him. Maybe when I met him at your house, he told me that I had a woman with me, and he described her, and it was my mom. And I had never
Mhm.
met him, and if I had, I had never mentioned my mom or showed him any pictures or anything, and he described her to a T. So he'll be joining us in a little bit. And I was looking into near death experiences, and I found some interesting stuff. They said they've only been really researching and looking into it for about 35 years, 35 40 years. And before that, it wasn't considered anything valid. It was, and a lot of people still look at it as just the synapses in your brain firing, and the all the things that you're seeing is just your brain dying. And so I looked at that, and then I looked at what they considered near death. Uh, what medically is defined, and then it said that it was individuals were considered near death if they were so physically compromised that they were not expected to recover and would irreversibly die. In other words, there was no sudden turnaround or no intervention. Then death would be inevitable. So that's something, and Danny can tell us all about what he felt. And then I was thinking, well, how many people does this happen to? And they said it's about 17% of those who nearly die.
Well,
Now I
I,
don't know what
I
the
I went to a lecture of a lady. Her name's Sandra Abrahams, and this is
mm-hmm.
many, many years ago. And she was actually dead for an hour, and she
Yeah,
woke up in the morgue. And she came back with a lot of stories and abilities and things like that. And she was pretty legit. One
that's a
thing
nice
that stuck with
waking.
me that she had said, she was doing a lecture, and this was at a school in the auditorium. And she told me that, well, she told everybody, she said that people that have Down syndrome, they chose to be born that way. And if you notice, they're always happy.
Hmm.
And they were born to show other people compassion.
Really?
Yes.
So she came back,
Hmm.
or basically with the understanding, like that is in a lot of New Age thinking and a lot of the sort of well, New Age would be it. Everybody, there's been but for a longer time than we've known New Age, there's always been this idea that floats around among mediums and not paranormal, but basically hypnotists, clinical hypnotists, just
Hmm.
and people who work with either NDEs or the like you were saying, the Down syndrome or whatever, and people who work with that and put people under hypnosis and discover spirit attachments and all that. Anyway, they say that you can enter a contract, that you basically enter a contract, your spirit, before you come into life. Like you pick your life and you
Right.
pick what you're going to go through. And a lot of people believe that. I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'm one of those that, believe that we do pick our journey that we're going to go on. And depending on our past life, because I believe in past lives, I've seen quite a few of my own past lives. And I guess you have lessons to learn, because I always say, I'm trying to get it right this time, Lord. I'm trying to get it right. Please don't make me come back. I
And
don't want to.
Jesus laughs. He just says, "Okay."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna see.
I
We're gonna.
used to believe that. Like, remember, I mean, a lot, anyone who's heard me talk, my mom was into all of that, and that's really the first time I started hearing that. And I don't think it was just because I was averse to all of that kind of new agey, ooey gooey stuff. Maybe I just didn't want to
Well, you
hear that.
grew up Catholic. You Catholic, right?
Well, I grew up Catholic, and
Yeah.
well, shoot, the Catholics only started allowing cremations like in the last 40 years or so, because they wouldn't let when you died a Catholic, you had to be put into the ground, and um, so that your body could be called up at the last day. And I'm like, you know what? The way that I felt, I heard that all my life, but then I came to feel that Jesus can pull all my ashes together if that's what he's going to do. I don't need to be buried in the ground, because that's something that I just, or in the ground or a mausoleum. So, and so they kind of relaxed on cremation and all that. So they've just had some very, they had no belief in reincarnation, at least before Vatican II. Now they believe all kind of stuff, and they're going off totally off the path. But I don't know. I never really, I don't know. For me, I think I believe in that the soul, when you have deja vu and you have past life memories, and you see, um, basically, or you go under hypnosis and you're regressed and you see that you were in another life. I think it's all imprinted on the soul that we're
Hmm.
carrying. And I think this is just my opinion. I think our spirits are individual, and they are what survives death, and they're unique. But the soul that you are carrying experiences multiple things over multiple journeys. So, and maybe the soul is matched with what is necessary for the spirit to get through life and accomplish whatever it's supposed to. Because I can tell you, I didn't pick this. If I signed this contract, I didn't read the fine print, and in some of the things
When I
that
get to the Akashic records, I'm gonna be like, my book is so thick. Don't even
I
know if
ain't
I'm
even
on.
going there. I ain't even doing that. I'm not interested.
No
Nope.
library for you.
No, unless it's in some medieval cathedral or whatever, because that's where I'm going. I'm going back
Yeah.
to, I'm going into my Middle Ages heaven or purgatory to wait for the end of whatever.
Mhm.
But people like Danny and people that have come back, my grandmother was dead 20 minutes, but she didn't come back conscious. She came back in a comatose state. But in and my grandma was like, if you knew her, she was like, I'm not dead. I'm not dying when you say I'm dead. And they worked on her and, for almost 20 minutes, and they were signing the death certificate right next to her when she coughed and came back to life. And she lived for another 12 hours. And in that time, my mother had a heart attack, a slight heart attack, and was taken down to the ER and had x-rays done. And they discovered that she had cancer, lung cancer, a tumor in her lung.
Oh,
um,
no.
and and then all of my grandmother's children, because my one uncle was fishing out in the Gulf, commercial fishing, and
Uh-huh.
she was waiting for all of them to be there. And even my grandpa, when she died, in the evening when she died, he had called the whole family, like everybody was called, and he told everybody, Rosie's dead, she's dead, and he was crying. And then it's like, no, she's not. She came back. Everybody was at the hospital. All her sisters, her brothers-in-law, I mean, the whole family came back and was there when she died. And so I think she got there, got on the other side and said, wait a minute, I'm going back. They're not all there. And the one son that she wanted to see, and when he got there, shortly after that, and he spoke to her, but she couldn't respond. Um, and he spoke to her and let her know he was there. And then shortly after that, she finally did pass. So, I don't know what was going on the other side, but I'm sure she said, I'm not ready to, yeah, I'm not going until they're all there. So she wanted an audience, I guess. But, but
That
anyway,
happens frequently with people like people on hospice. Sometimes they'll wait till a certain person gets there
mhm,
before they pass.
yeah, yeah, I believe so. Um, I mean, my experience with my dad was, I think he was gone a little bit soon, before he was actually declared dead. I think they're kind of like half in and out of the body. But
Right.
we as people, yeah, my brother. Well, what I was going to say was my brother and my daughter. Um, they were in the hospital, but we were there. I was there in the room. I said, well, they were going to go down and get some breakfast, and I said, yeah, go ahead, because he was like stable, but he was in the spot where they're giving him morphine for comfort and everything, and they hadn't
Mhm.
gone but like 10 minutes when I saw him like let out a deep breath, a deep sigh, and then he passed, and they came rushing back up, but they kind of missed him. But when my brother got there, I remember that he bent over and he said in his ear, I'm here. I think that's what he said. I didn't hear, but I think that's what he said. He said, to let him know that he was there.
Right.
And shortly after that, if he would just stayed, he and my daughter would just stayed, they would have been there. And it's almost as soon as they went out and down the elevator, they had just got downstairs to the cafeteria and he passed, So there's probably something to that. But the person who can tell us from his own experience is going to be Danny. And so we're gonna bring Daniel on shortly. We're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna talk to our guest about his near-death experience and the amazing powers, the superpowers he came back with. So we're gonna go to a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Supernatural Substation. You're listening to Alyne Pustanio and Bernadine LeBlanc, and we've been joined by our guest, Daniel Blake. Danny, it's good to have you
Richardson,
here.
Has
Richardson,
good
man.
been here.
I'm so used to saying your old name, Dean. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It sounds good. I understand. Let me correct that. Bernadine Richardson, ma'am. It's ma'am.
Man.
That's just
Like the boss.
That's a perfect joke. It's ma'am. Okay. Yeah, y'all. If y'all knew Dean, no, I got no Dean. You'd have hit me for that. So it's Bernadine Richardson, and I'm still just Alyne Pustanio. So I even went back to that name after I divorced the man I married. So, but don't ask me why. But anyway, we're here about Danny. So, Danny, welcome to our show, and we've been talking a little bit about near death experiences, but we're talking about people that have, as people that haven't experienced anything like that. So we would like to hear, or I would like to hear, because I know Dean knows it intimately. I'd like to hear your story. What happened?
Well, I've died several times. Which one?
Uh, I don't know. The one where you came back special? Special pie?
Well, I don't know. When I was born that way already. I was deceased. When they was taking me to the freezer, my finger moved and they took me back. Uh, so when I want to say 7. It was 7 when I was 7. I would see a older lady and an old man. The old man would have me pick those little flowers that grow in the spring in the yard for the bees, and he would tell me to pick them and take them to my mother. And then I would go in the house in my room, and I'd be by myself, and the lady would play jacks with me. And I noticed the lady looked like my mother, but I didn't know why. So one Thanksgiving was at my family's in Vidor, Texas, when I saw a picture on the wall of a family in black and white. When I saw the lady and I saw the man, and I asked who were they because I seen them before. Well, not knowing my grandfather, he said, "Hell, you can't know them people. They dead before you was even born. Probably when I was a little kid." And he told my mama to whip my butt because that kid needs to stop lying like that. So that's when I knew not to talk about it anymore. As I got older, I didn't think about it anymore and I let it go. I committed suicide in 1990, February. I had died 3 times, did not know it. But when I came back, they had me tied and I saw this old lady. And she was talking to me. She was in an old, shriveled lady, white hair, and she was talking to me in her nightgown. And she said the people wouldn't listen to her. And I said, "Why?" And she said, "I keep trying to get them to talk to me, but they won't talk to me. Can you get them to talk to me?" Well, at that point, the nurse walks in the room and she says, "Who are you talking to?" The little old lady's still standing there, of course. And I shut my mouth because at that point they thought I was crazy for sure. So I didn't say no more. When I got out of the hospital, I started noticing when I would be around people, I would see the people, and they would tell me, "Tell them, you see me, don't you? Tell them." And I would walk away because what in my life doing this, I still do it. I just walk away because I see them here, and I walk away. What hurts me the most is the children. I see the children. And
Mm,
they're holding their mommy's hands or trying to get their daddies to acknowledge them, and they're walking around. They're just either standing or walking away, and the child don't understand why.
wow.
And I try to tell the people, when you have a loved one and you lose that loved one, please don't grieve too hard. Because if you grieve too hard, they will stay for us. They're not staying for them, they're staying
Hmm.
for us.
Hmm.
And that leaves them lost on this side when we go to the other side.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
was in
about.
a bad car wreck and I got killed again. And they brought me back. And they had heart monitor, machines, everything on me because they lost me. And it happened again. But what happened? is I was going into the other realm, and it's always a man. I never see his face, but I see his sachet he's wearing. I see his belt on his side, and I see his hair short, very curly, and it's short. He looks to be between 30, 35, and he's got a voice like a bugle. It always says, "Go back." And it's like a bugle blowing through a horn
Hmm.
every time he does that. Every time I come back and he does that, I see more people. And it's scary to me because there's some things I don't understand. And there's some things I see that I don't like seeing because I see people as they passed. Some passed peacefully, some passed horribly. And it's the horrible ones I don't like to see because the loved ones always want they always want that confirmation. How did they die? How do I know you're seeing them or talking to them?
Mhm.
And I've got to recall that incident, that moment, and what took them from this side of life. And that hurts me because I'm telling them again what they already know, but they want confirmation. So I've got to see the ugly to give confirmation that I'm not lying. And
Wow.
that's what hurts. That hurts. That hurts people like me that can do this. And if anybody's been passed away and came back or had near death experience, they'll know. And hypnotists will know. You cannot hypnotize us. We can't
Yeah.
be hypnotized.
You mean anyone who's experienced near death that you
Yes,
can't?
ma'am.
Oh, I see.
Anyone that's had a near death experience, yes, ma'am, and came back and are
Hmm.
gifted, they cannot be hypnotized. It's virtually impossible to hypnotize them.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't I I don't know if it's because of the conscious state. It's not that we remember what happened when we died, but I
Hmm.
think it's the conscious state of our minds saying I can't go back there.
Hmm.
That's what I believe to happen.
Well, there are
So
there's i- common characteristics, to these things. People talk about seeing loved ones, the white light, the tunnel, the feelings of, intense love, and being given a choice to stay or go back to their earthly life. Did you experience any of
I've
that?
heard about all of that, but
Hmm.
I when I had the bad car wrecks and my life was snatched out, like when I had the bad car wreck in Texas, it happened so fast and so hard. I saw the brightest, most beautiful light you ever want to see. So tranquil. So it was just I wanted to go back to that.
Hmm.
Committed suicide. I didn't see that. When I committed suicide, I saw nothing but earth, every creature in the ground, in the earth,
Hmm.
and all over the people, just all over the people. And I remember it so well. It's like I'd done something I was wrong to doing, or something God wanted me to see not to do. I don't know what it was, but it was so awful. It made me not ever want to do that again.
Well, when you say you saw people in the earth and creatures all over them, or you saw the
No,
into.
I saw people in the ground screaming and hollering, and they had
Hmm.
every bug in the earth, every snake, every roach, every worm, every anything creature in the earth you can think of was on us, on all of it. Me too. It was on us. We were screaming, and there were so many screams. There were just so many screams, and people just gnawing at each other, trying to get out, and you can't get out. You're there. You can't go nowhere.
That is, that sort of aligns with what the Catholics believe. That sounds like
I'm
a
not Catholic. I'm
purgatory.
sorry.
No, I know, but it aligns a
Um,
lot with what we're told, and what the occult tradition is about suicides. like for instance, someone who commits suicide, there's that the spirits that you saw, they would stay there for the whole length of their what would have been their natural life on earth. They would be condemned to that, to live that out, and then when that is spent, they can escape maybe from there,
Uh-huh.
depending on how they live their life. But that's really frightening.
Yeah, it
And
is. And so when I came back, I didn't just come back. I came back with a piggyback. I had a spirit attached to me.
oh, somebody got out. Huh? Oh,
My mother did.
mm.
My
Wait,
mother did.
your mother came back with you?
Yeah, she's here and she won't leave. I never tell nobody what my mother looked like when she was buried. I never do that because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want nobody to say, "Oh, I saw your mother." I don't want to hear that. I don't want to make believe thrown at me, and I never say that. And a lot of times, everybody thought it was a wife in my past life, but I come to learn this woman is not a wife of a past life. This is my mother. She
Mm-hmm.
was in a bad place, and if we're to choose who our parents are to be, I made a bad choice. But she was not a good mother, and I've never believed my mother was in heaven. I've never done that. But that's my belief. That's between me and God, but it is. I just like to say that she came back because she saw me coming in that realm.
Yeah.
She saw me coming in through a light of that realm because there's a split second of a light when you leave this earth and you go into that realm.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw me and she recognized me and she piggybacked is what she done. She came back with me on this side. She was in darkness where I was headed, and we was in that dark place. And I guess she's been there since when she passed in '78, but she's been there. But when she saw me coming, she saw light, she saw me, she saw yes, and it was latched on. And now she won't leave. She does sit and cry sometimes. She throws stuff off my shelves. She does rattle the kitchen. She does make the cat jump and holler. She does a lot of, but that would be my mother. She's antagonizing that way.
Well, that's really interesting because there's a theory that when people sort of like commit suicide out of the blue, or when people don't expect it and there were no hints about it, and or even when there are usually spirits around them encouraging them and egging them on to commit suicide and kill themselves. And then when they do and they become aware on the other side, then they see these spirits that were around them. So to I would extrapolate and say, I wonder if your mother was forcing
Well, Dean,
herself on you to
Dean would,
try to get
Dean
you
would,
to.
Dean would remember this incident. She was in my home for a short while, but she was here, and she had a friend, and her friend was gonna do cards. My mother was the type of woman she did not believe in cards or Ouija boards. She didn't. My mother was clairvoyant, very clairvoyant. She saw things that we didn't even know about and would tell us about it. And it's come to be true. What she told us is very true. But nonetheless, she didn't believe in the cards, the what I say, all that black magic and stuff. The lady was going to do cards. I have one curio with nothing but saints, the Lord at the knocking at the door, nothing but angels in that curio, nothing but. Jane was in the kitchen. Her friend and me were at the table. My cat, the only animal I had, was laying in there with us on the floor. We heard glass rattling from the den of my house, just rattle. And we thought, what? It might be the cat. I said, no, the cat's laying right here. Dean said, no, the cat's right there. I got up and I walked into where the sound came from. When I got into the den and I looked in that one curio, all the saints had been turned facing the wall.
And I see
Jesus
that
was laying
represented in
down
there.
in there, and the plates, his plates were laying down, and
Oh my
the
God.
angels were turned around.
Wow.
Yeah.
It happened just that way.
No, I believe it. Wow.
But
And who
it was her. It was
was that
her.
your mother?
That was my mother because she didn't believe in that, and the lady was gonna do cards. She was gonna read my cards, and my mother was against it.
Well, it.
She did
I
not
don't.
want us doing
I
it.
don't mean to be a smart ass, but I mean, she should be believing in that stuff. And if she found a way to come back, okay.
Well,
But
she found a way to come back, but she thought she could. I guess she was in her. I don't know how the dead think or they even think, but I do know maybe she thought latching on to me, she wouldn't be in that dark place because there was a light around me when I was coming at the time.
That's
oh,
called the
So I'm
absolutely,
piggyback.
I
You
believe that.
piggyback.
so
Yeah.
her ways of seeing the light, she was going to get out of the darkness and she was going
Yep.
to go to paradise.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't going to paradise, honey. She come back over here,
She went back
and
into,
and
yeah.
she's not happy.
Well, and she won't leave. I mean, have
She
you told
won't
her
leave.
to leave?
And I've tried to get people in here to get her out. I've tried to get people to get her away from me. And she's a big woman, and she still is a big woman, and she's a mean woman, and she fights them. They won't bother her. They back away.
Well, she
She will
has a
tear
lot
my
more
she
power.
will
Yeah.
tear my
She's the
house
one that
apart.
threw me down, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
She threw you down.
Yeah.
Dean, well, I was at Dean's house, and she didn't like Dean. Could not stand Dean. Because Dean, she wanted Dean to watch something one time. Dean got mouthy with her and said no and walked outside. Well, my mother
No,
was not the kind to confrontate. Okay, she did not
Dean.
like a child, and she didn't like Dean from that point. So I went and stayed a weekend at Dean's because I was looking for a house in Louisiana, and I stayed there, not thinking about good old mom. So I go there and I stayed the weekend. I get ready to leave, and Dean's walking behind me with her garbage to put it out. And I hear battle. And I turn, and Dean's on the ground with her palms cuffed up and her knees cuffed up. And I said, "What are you doing down there?" She said, "That big something big. You pushed me down." And I said, "That's my mother." She said, "If the bitch wasn't dead, I'd kill her again."
I can attest to that. She would.
She hurt Dean. She did. She hurt Dean.
I was bleeding. Yeah.
And when I bought my house and I moved in it, me and
Oh,
Dean come and saw the house. We checked it out and everything and walked out, and me and Dean agreed there was no spirits in this house. We agreed. We felt no spirits, saw no spirits. We move in the house, and I get a spirit. I'm laying in my bed. Dean's in her room. We're standing at my bedroom door. There's a short woman, shoulder length, well, little past shoulder length, dark black hair, wearing glasses, blue jeans on, with a t-shirt, and she's swinging a pocket watch. And I thought it was Dean. And she stood there, and I said, "If you're going to talk to me, talk to me." And she never said a word. She just kept swinging the pocket watch. And then she went away. When the next day I asked Dean, "Why are you going to stand in my bedroom and not talk to me?" She said, "Danny, I never came to your room." I said,
wow.
"You stood there swinging that pocket watch." She said, "Danny, I don't own a pocket watch. I was not in your bedroom."
Wow.
Dean left for the week to stay at her mother's. I heard a noise like a car ran into my home. I took off running. Got outside. It was peaceful. The sun was shining. It was beautiful. I thought, what in the. I go back in the house. I look around. Everything's in place. I open my bedroom closet. They ripped my closet out of the wall.
Jesus.
Yeah, I have photos.
She's got photos. The
Mhm.
part of the closet they ripped, my closet, my side of the closet, had all my clothes, all my suitcases, everything in perfect condition. The other side had Dean's clothes, Dean's stuff, very little of it, but there was ripped to the ground.
So who's this? Was this his
It was
mother?
my mother. She didn't
Ma-
want Dean's stuff in my closet.
Is she around right now? Because I don't want.
She's not gonna. She don't bother nobody. She just don't like Dean. She didn't want Dean's stuff in my side of the room. It gets
That's
better
that,
though because it happened a second time. Dean had left and went stayed at her mom's. She was staying at her mom's pretty much at this point.
mm-hmm.
And this time I had it repaired and they ripped it out again. Only this time they bent it all. And it takes somebody strong to do that. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is just too much. I said, Dean, honey, whatever you got in this closet, please come get it out, please. I called the men. They came out and they put reinforcements in that closet and put it back together. The man hung on it himself, a 6-foot man, 175 pounds, hung on that closet. He said, this damn thing ain't coming down no more. And if it does, he said, do me a favor, call a priest.
Oh, so you told him what happened. That was my next question.
They saw it. They saw it.
Oh my God.
They had to put it back together again, and this time it was ripped. The reinforcements they put in it the first time was ripped out and done more damage to.
Well, I know you're not a Catholic, but the only thing that's going to make her go is a Catholic exorcism. Period. In Latin. Period. That's all it's going to make her go.
I've had a couple of people come to
Benedict
my home.
itself.
I've had a couple of people come to my home, and this is why I go back to. I don't tell nobody how she was buried. I
Mm-hmm.
go. They tell me, "Who's that woman in your room?"
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "Who? What? The woman in your room?" I said, "Why? What woman?" I said, "What does she look like?" They said she's got short red hair like auburn, and she's got a powder blue chiffon like gown on. That's what my mother was buried in.
Oh wow.
A short auburn red wig because she had no
Mm-hmm.
hair. She had cancer, and
Mm-hmm.
we buried her in a powder blue chiffon negligee all the way down to her feet.
Wow.
And they've described it just like that.
Now, if she was to
I've got
pass
a aunt.
on, if she was to
I,
go, if
I've
she was
got an
to,
aunt. I've got an aunt that's alive. Her only sister alive. She comes from Texas, and she'll get to my bedroom door. She'll say, "Danny, invite me in your room." I go, "What? Invite me in your room?" I say, "Why?" She said, "Because she won't let me in."
damn.
But she don't like her. She never did like her. She's the baby of the family. She was spoiled, and she never did like her. And she's by another woman, so she was like, she never liked her.
Well, now you've crossed over into folklore because, yeah, I mean, you have to invite someone in, but it's usually you have to invite the bad one in to come in, but you got the bad one in there with you.
Yeah, and she'll tell me, "Danny, tell her to let me in," and I'll
Oh,
go, "Okay." So when she comes in, I tell her, "Come on in the room," and that way she won't bother her.
wow. Well, I won't be paying you any visit. Nothing personal, but I don't know.
When I see the people, when I go to Walmart or places like, I don't like going to stores because there's so many people that have passed that don't even probably was part of the ground, maybe not all of from the loved ones. Probably part of the something to do with that space before they built that store there or whatever. And
Mhm.
they're walking around in different clothes from like 1500s to on. And I did a lady one day. She was sitting at my table on when I lived in my other house, and I
That's
said, "Honey, do
weird.
you know you got a pilgrim following you around?"
She said
And
no, obviously. Right.
she said, "Do what?" I said, "You have a pilgrim following you around." She was a tall lady, a heavy built lady. She was big bone. She wasn't fat. She was big bone. She was tall, very nice, but the man was tall as she was. I said, "He's a pilgrim."
Do you
She
think
said,
it could?
"Funny you should." No, she told me, "Funny you should tell me that. I was married to a pilgrim in my past life."
Ah,
Hmm.
there you go. I
She
was going
said,
either a
she said,
family
you,
member.
you, you, you picked up on him. I said, "No, I see him. He's standing there." He was in my den, in my dining room.
Jeez,
But
I don't.
she came to me for a reading because she had a man that wouldn't let her sleep. And I had to go to the house. So I went to her house and I walked around it and I got in contact with the man, very angry man, older man, but angry man. He was trying to he's trying to get her to kill her children and kill herself.
Uh huh.
And I said, "No, what happened?" She said, "What happened?" Well, first she looked like his wife that he murdered.
Oh Jesus.
And that's what he was doing. He was angry that she was still there. And it wasn't his wife, but she looked like her. So the spirit's way of thinking was that was still her. She was getting to have fun on this side, and he couldn't. So he wanted her dead again.
So did you talk to this spirit? Do you talk to them and tell them what's going on?
Yes,
Make them leave
yes.
or
I tell them. I had a family come to my home when I lived in town, and they brought a little boy with them. But I didn't know it was them. I had several people come that day. Well, that night I got ready for bed and I saw this little boy. He was 3 years old, cute as a button. He was
mm,
3 years old, sandy blonde hair. He had the biggest, brownest eyes. He was wearing little overalls with a little t-shirt with little sneakers on them. Sneakers back in the 60s. Them little
mm,
sneakers and all stars.
yeah.
And he had him a carousel. When they made the carousels out of metal back then,
Mhm.
and he had him a little carousel. And he was standing looking at me, and I said, "Can I have it?" And he would reach it to me. When I go to get it, he'd pull it back. And he's standing, so he's got it, and I say, "Why don't you sit in the chair next to me?" Because I was sleeping in a recliner. So he got in the next recliner, and he got up beside me and had his carousel. I said, "Can I see it?" And he handed it to me. I go to breathe it. He'd pull it back. He wouldn't let me have it. He had to show it to me. I'm showing you, but you can't touch it. That went on for about 4 nights. And then I finally started contacting the people that had been to the house the day that happened.
Mhm.
One lady calls me back. She said, "Sir, what did that little boy look like?" I said, "Sandy blonde hair, big brown eyes. He's olive complexion, wearing overalls, wearing them little sneakers back in the 60s, and he's got the little blue t-shirt on."
Mhm.
She said, "That's my cousin that was killed in front of the Catholic Church in Delcom."
Wow. Did he go
So
back
see,
to the
loved ones follow. Babies, children, they follow and they stay. They don't follow, always follow y'all back.
Mhm. Yeah, well, they know
They,
you can see them, and so they stay
yeah.
with you. They wanna interact with somebody who can see him. And, did he leave? Did he go back to his family?
No, ma'am. I had to call on my spirit guides to come get this baby and bring him home.
Mhm.
I
Wow.
did that. I did that for about 2 months, if not about 2 or 3 months. I did that, calling on my spirit guides to please come get this baby. He's lost. Come get this baby. Because I told the lady, "Would y'all please come back and get him?" And she would never come get him. They never come back. And I had to rely on spirit guides to please. And I prayed to God so much, "Please, Lord, take this baby." And finally, I guess they got him. He went because I hadn't seen him anymore. I haven't
You
seen
guys
him
hear
anymore.
me?
Remember my sister Tina, Alyne?
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'm
her
sorry, my
baby,
mic dropped for a minute.
her baby would follow her and play with the dishes and stuff. Well, before that was before my sister passed. Well, Danny seen my sister,
Yes.
and she didn't know she was dead, but she had her baby with her,
Oh,
and
no.
her
Well,
yeah.
how that came about, and if Dean still has that piece of paper, I was dreaming of Tina's death. I heard her passing while she was writing it down. She
Yeah.
was writing her she was writing her death down because she lived at my house for a short period of time, and I would go in the house, and this little boy with curly blonde hair would be curled up in her lap, wearing an all-star baseball outfit with little tennis shoes, little socks. Oh, just as
Mhm.
cute. And he would be curled up in her lap when she'd be asleep. And I like, oh my word. Well, she had told me she had a son pass, but I never saw him, never saw pictures and nothing like that. And I told her one day, I said, "Tina, well, you don't mind telling me what your baby boy looked like?" And she told me, and I said, "He's been sleeping in your lap." It was the
Mm.
baby I've been seeing, the 3-year-old. Well, I went to her trailer one day, and she said, "Danny." And I said, "Yes." She said, "I need you to help me." And I said, "Well," she said, "please don't tell Sissy I'm talking to you like this, but I think my little boy's trying to kill baby girl." And I said, "Well, why would you say that?" She said, "Because I go to town with Sissy and stuff. I come back, my water's running in my sink."
Mhm.
I said, "Honey, he's not trying to kill her. He's trying to water her." But what do? she said, what do I do? I said, go to the store, baby, buy truck, ball, anything for little boy. Put it on the floor and tell him it's his to play with while you're not there so he don't mess with baby girl. She done
Baby
this and it
girl,
stopped.
dog.
It
Baby
done
girl's
this.
the dog. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So when that happened, I started dreaming. I would wake up every night for 3 months, every night at 3 a.m., 57 second, 3 a.m., 57 minutes, and 54 seconds every night for 3 months. That went on. I called Dean and tell her I can't take this anymore. And I said, I got to know who she is. I can't see her face, but she's short in stature, small in weight. She's got glasses on, and she's got shoulder length brown hair. She's like sitting in a recliner, and she dies. She's in front of a TV. She's dead, Dean. And she said, okay. That went on. I said, I'm waking up every night at 3
Mhm.
a.m., 57 minutes, and 54 seconds. Well, when Tina passed, Dean said, Danny, I need you to come to the house.
Yeah.
So I went. And Tina had wrote on this piece of paper, she had saw her baby boy and played, and her baby boy that was 3 years old. She saw him for 3 months, 57 times, and played with him for 54 seconds.
Wow.
And it was her that Dean and them found in the recliner.
Yeah.
But the girl that I saw had dark frame glasses. Well, I didn't. Tina didn't have them when I remember. Dean said, "Danny, I got her new glasses last week. They were dark frame,
Mm.
and she was in the recliner."
Wow. There are a few people that I've heard that are this good at psychic communication. You really.
I was seeing her passing, and she was writing it down
Yeah, but
the whole
Danny seen
time.
her after she passed. She didn't know
Mhm.
she died.
Yeah.
No, she came to me. She had a ferret, and she had her Romeo, and she had a little boy, and she had him by the hand, and then she picked him up in her arms. She said, "I have him." I said, "Oh, Momo," because that's what I call her. I
Uh-huh.
said, "Oh," and I said, "Are you all right?" She said, "Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah." Every
Now,
time Dean has a happening in her family, or
mhm.
every time there's a death in her side of the family, Tina comes to me and she moves my stuff around to get my
Mhm.
attention.
Mhm.
The one with the pocket watch, that was Tina that visited me that night because she's the one that had the pocket watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dean said, sis, Tina had that pocket watch, and she's right. She had a pocket watch. She's correct.
Hmm.
So that was Tina. In the dark, though, it looked like Dean, but it was Tina, but they were sisters, so that would stand to reason.
Yeah, that would. Now, let me ask you a question. A little while back, you said just now that you have your spirit guides. Who are they? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My angel, Jophiel.
That's your spirit guide.
Uh huh.
And can you tell us about is it a him, her, or
She's a
not?
girl. She's a
It's
girl.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jophiel's a girl. Um, a lot of people thinks that our angels come with wings, and they don't come with wings.
No, I know. Yeah.
They don't come with wings. They think they come with wings. I saw her one time when I was young. I was about 9 years old, and I had my baby sister. And God knows you didn't mess with the baby sister. So she was playing on a swing, and she was about to fall from that swing. Just as I was taking off to grab her before she fell and got hurt, my angel grabbed her, and my sister seen her too. And she said, "Did you see her?" I said, "I did. She's beautiful, and she's beautiful. She is. She's blonde, and she's got. When I say blonde, she's got white golden hair. She wears a long white gown, and she's real pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And she don't have wings. No, she don't have wings.
Is
I
she
call
always?
on her.
How big is she? Is she like normal human size, or is she
She,
always that way?
well, people think they stand on their feet, and they don't. They hover.
Mm-hmm.
They hover. So if
Mm-hmm.
you to put her on her feet, she might stand 5'5",
Mm-hmm.
maybe, and weigh maybe 120 pounds, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
She's real petite.
Now she protects you. Why doesn't she tell your mama to go? Come
Nobody
back.
can fight with my mom.
Hmm.
I always say there's good and bad in our homes. No matter where we go, there's going to be good and there's going to be bad. Where there's
Yeah.
evil, there's good, and there's
Yeah.
always going to be a war between the two. But
Hmm.
my mother being 5'10" and 200 pounds, she can't master her.
She's a linebacker.
If she pushed you down, yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so.
No,
And
she is a linebacker. My mother's wedding ring was a size 12.
Lord have mercy.
The woman had big hands. So when Dean said big hands, that's my mother.
It felt like a
My
man
mother.
hit me from
Ye-
behind. That's
Jesus.
where I got
Yes.
hit from behind. I didn't see it. There's nobody behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
And
when my mother was alive, she could knock
man
6 foot
with
men out of their shoes.
yeah.
Looks like she's going to stay until it's time for you to go for real.
Well, they said I had two choices. One is either commit suicide and take her back with me or wait till I die. So what the first option is not an option. The second one, she'll have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't look
She'll
like
have
she's
to-
doing anything.
Well, I've had several people try to get her out. I've brought holy water in. And people say burn sage in your house. Well, that's a no-no. Don't
Mhm.
burn sage in your house because what happens, you burn the sage, they go away a little while and they come back with anger.
Yes, I
Mhm.
know. I know that. I mean, not that I've done it. I've always talked against sage. I mean, it doesn't, it only is a temporary fix.
It's a temporary thing, and when they come back, they are fit
Yeah.
to be
They come
tied,
back
and they
with
can tear
others.
your
Yeah.
house apart.
And they come back with others that come with them. Speaking of which, like, have you ever seen other angels or demons? Either just,
The
in,
demons I've seen is the ones that Dean picked up in mirrors that I've seen.
wait, Dean picked up in mirrors. Like, you mean,
Yeah, we've
oh,
done
yeah.
paranormal, and she'll video record
Yeah.
the mirrors in the house,
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
can see them. You can see them walking in the mirror.
Hmm.
Yes. They said that the demons got horns. No, they don't. They just got ugly faces and ears.
Yeah. They don't,
I don't know where the horns came from.
well, from, that's from the Middle Ages and everything. Devils,
Oh, okay.
goat, association with goats, and just people
I've
trying to.
not seen one in my home ever, but I'm
Oh,
not. That's not to say there isn't any.
probably your mom's keeping them away too.
I'm probably keeping them at bay. They're only one demon at a time. Only one
The
demon at a time.
demon's like, hell no.
This is
Danny
my. This
also
is my
works with
bus.
the
My bus stop. Move on.
Yeah, for real.
Danny also works with the police sometimes to help with unsolved murder cases.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me
Yes.
about that.
Yes. The Lafayette. Well, it wasn't Lafayette Police Department, but they had a lady living in Lafayette. Still lives there. She called me one day because her sister told her what I could do. She said, "Can I talk to you? And you don't think I'm crazy?" I said, "Like anybody else, go ahead." And she said, "I keep going to work every morning, but when I get to this one spot in the road, it's like something's stopping me." Because a lot of people are empath. A lot of people are empath. And she
Hmm.
was picking up on the spirit, only she didn't know it. I said,
Right.
"Well, Miss Barbara, when you get off the work, baby, tell me where you live and I'll come." So she did, and I came. And she
Hmm.
got in the car with me. I said, "Let's go down this road you take in the morning." So we went down that road. She said, "Stop right here. It's right here." I said, "You picking up on it now?" She said, "Yep, it's right here." So I parked on the side of the road. Well, across the road, there was a mobile home and then a little white travel trailer.
Hmm.
And I sit there for a little while and I picked up on it too. It was a girl, a young girl, had been murdered there. I said,
Mm.
"Holy honey, there's a girl been murdered here, baby. She wants to go home." She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes, I'm very serious." She was murdered here in that travel trailer right there, that white one. Well, I get back to Abbeville and I tell the police department. And they come to the house and they get me and put me in their car and take me. I said, "Oh, this is just fantastic." So we get in there and they give me the police department and say, "We need you to write a statement on what you've been told." I said, "By the dead girl?" He said, "Well, that's what you're here for." I said, "Well, give me paper." And he did. Well, one cop was sitting in there looking at me all stuff. I said, "Sir, would you please leave? You think too loud." Well, how do you know what I'm thinking? I said, "Because the girl's telling me you think I'm a fake, a fraud, and I'm wasting your time. So would you please leave the room?"
Mm.
Well, I never. I said, "Honey, you never will again. Please go." So he left. And I sit there and I was writing the statement. Well, the cop walks in and he says, "What's she telling you?" I said, "She's saying she was murdered." He said, "Where at?" I said, "Lafayette." He said, "You want to tell me where in Lafayette?" I said, "Sir, she left her parents' house to go to a party," she said, "but she met two guys down the road. They picked her up, took her to that trailer, in that camper trailer, and she overdosed. They overdosed her, and they put her body in the dumpster."
Jesus.
He got me back home. They had it in the newspaper 3 weeks later. The girl was from Lafayette. She left her family's house saying she had to go to. She was going to a party with some friends. When she got down the road, the two guys picked her up. They took her to the trailer, and they did put her in a dumpster.
And
They
did
put
they
her
arrest
body there.
you guys?
There's a black man and a white man.
Did they arrest them?
Yes, yes.
So they were the ones living there at the trailer.
Yes, they were in that. They were living in that camper trailer, and they was partying with drugs. And her parents didn't know she was doing drugs, but she was.
Wow.
I did tell the cops, however, when they posted her picture, I said that's not her hair color. He said, "What
Mm-hmm.
do you mean?" I said, "That's not her hair color, sir. It's not blonde. It's bleached. Her hair is brown, a
Mm.
light brown." So they changed the picture in the paper, and a lot of people came forth, and they who knew who she was.
Did they find her body?
They never told me, and they never said nothing about nothing. I know the guys were. I know they were in jail still because we've been watching for it.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't said nothing about being released or nothing like that. So we think it's maybe still in the courts because this happened 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's probably still working its way.
Yeah. The other one was what happened. What the girls in Jennings was being murdered. I called there and I
Mm-hmm.
got them on the hotline. And I
Okay.
told them, I said, those girls are being murdered in Jennings and left in different areas. I said, there's a man. He wears glasses. He wears a uniform. I said, he's got pigeons in cages in his backyard. I said, he knows these girls because he beats the streets. He knows all the areas to go because he's in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
The man said, "Who are you?" And I told him who I was, what I did, everything. He laughed at me. I said, "Sir, this is not funny. And I'm not playing to waste your time nor mine. You need to get this man. You need
Mm-hmm.
to get him." So a few weeks later, they called me and they said, "Sir, this is so and so at Jennings Police Department." I said, "Yes, sir." "Did you call us with a statement?" I said, "I did." "Do you know who this man is?" I said, "I don't know who he is, but I tell you right now, he's in travel because I see Wisconsin or Wyoming. I see the W. So he's in travel. He's crossing state lines.
Mm-hmm.
We need to investigate this." I said, "Yes, sir, you do, because I told y'all he wore a uniform. He had pigeons in his backyard, and he knew the streets because he beat the streets because he was some kind of an officer. I don't know if he's worked for the wildlife, if he worked for y'all. I don't know, but he wore a uniform with glasses."
Mm-hmm.
Well, they called me about 2 months later to let me know they lost him. They couldn't find him, and he was a narcotic agent,
Wow.
and he was the one killing the girls.
Now wasn't this serial killing? You
Yeah,
refreshed my
in
memory. What?
Jennings, in Jennings in 2015, 14 when that was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I thought I remembered something about it.
I'm the one
So
that made the phone call.
obviously they caught him. Then they figured out who he was. They caught him.
Mm-mm.
No.
They lost him. They found out who he was because they went to his house. They found out who had the pigeons, and they found out who he was. And by the time they went after him, he had already crossed state lines. They were looking for him.
Oh,
Last I heard,
oh, okay. Okay.
they
And you
lost him.
know where he is now.
When I saw him, he was in travel,
Mm-hmm.
but he was trying to get out of the state, like go to another state where they can't find you and extradite you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
where he was headed. He was headed out of U.S. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, trying to go to Canada probably if he's going up to Wisconsin or
That's
something.
what I kept seeing. I seen Wisconsin. Well, I couldn't remember. I said, I see a W, sir. He's crossing state lines. He's trying to leave the. He's leaving the country.
Yeah.
He's in travel.
Well, basically, I
Where's
mean,
he
if you
staying?
leave,
I said he's staying in motels. He's staying in
uh-huh.
motels, but he's crossing lines. He's crossing state lines.
Yeah, I mean, if he just drove straight up from Lafayette north, he'd end up in Wisconsin. So,
Okay, that was right then, because I
yeah,
seen the big
well,
W.
a big W, and it's trying to tell you, yeah, Wyoming would be in the west. But I mean, if he wanted to go quick, he could just go north, and you can
Yeah.
cross Wisconsin, any of those northern states.
Okay. Well, that's where he was headed. That away. And I see he stops at motels. He eats out of quick, like fast gas stations, fast convenience stores, stuff like that. And he stays on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in a hurry to get out of the states.
Wow. And
Yeah.
he's still out there. That's not a comforting thought.
No.
Not
But
at
he's
all.
not here. I mean, he's not here. But the reason he knew where to dump the bodies and stuff, because he was a narcotic agent. He stayed on the streets. That part was right. And
Yeah.
he did know the girls because they were drug addicts.
Wow.
That's why he was killing them all. Supposedly doing the world a favor. I don't call it a favor.
No, he's just a sick bastard. When he dies, they're going to have fun with him. When he gets over there,
Hmm.
they'll have some
Oh
fun with.
yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
so you've used your ability to help other people too. I mean, people who want resolution about their family who've died, knowing if they're okay, and who crossed over. I mean, you've helped people with that a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, they say they're okay, and I need to make the people understand. Just because they say they're okay, don't mean they're okay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be okay if you're deceased. You can't be okay if you're not with your family. But I guess they're just saying they're okay because they're not hurting or feeling any pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I gather from it. They're just
Yeah.
not feeling any pain. They're not sick or nothing like that. And people think when I see them, they come in the way they passed, but then they change on me.
Uh-huh.
They do. They change. If people think people's in heaven or wherever with the age they are when they pass, they're not. They
No.
all go back to 32 years of age.
Yeah. When you're at your prime, your body and everything is restored to you once you pass over.
I've
Yeah.
seen babies pass that have died that got aborted and stuff. Because I'll tell a woman when I'm talking to her, I see a baby lost, and she thinks the baby's a baby talking to me, where they're not.
Uh-huh.
They go back. They got when the baby passes, the baby becomes 8 years old again.
Yeah, and aborted I have been told that aborted babies, their spirits stay with the mother forever until the mother
Yeah,
dies. They follow
they
them,
do.
they grow, and they grow on the other side as well. That they can grow along. But these spirits that were intended to be born, that came into these fetuses and then were aborted. That I mean, and there's something to the belief, but they're following their mothers around. So if a woman there are these women out there saying they've had 21 abortions. Well, guess what? You've got all these little babies following you around. You
Yeah,
know.
because even the Bible tells us, and there's a lot of people don't believe in it, but it does say when God said He knew every hair on our head
Hmm.
before we were even conceived in the mother's womb. That
Yeah.
tells us that He put that baby there for a reason.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
baby had not us, but that baby had purpose. It was there for a purpose. And if that wasn't true, a lot of women get pregnant on birth control, and
Hmm.
they still like, well, I don't know how this happened. You do because God did it. That baby has purpose.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah.
meant to be.
And they have no business ending it.
Messing with the purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Their job is just to
it's
nurture the purpose and let it go when it gets grown.
right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's up to women who, if they're going to have it done. I'm not going to wade
Well, I'll
into
put it to you this way. It was
the
at a
debate.
hospital.
They still.
I was at a hospital with this lady passing, and she was
Mhm.
screaming, and her feet were on fire. screaming, just screaming.
Mm.
Her feet were on fire. And my grandmother too was she had a gift. And I asked her, I said, why is that lady screaming? She said, baby, she had 4 abortions
Mm.
and her feet were on fire. So she was already headed to a place that she didn't want to go.
A lot of people need to hear that because I
And I
know.
was at the hospital when this was happening and saw it when it happened.
Yeah.
And that's what my grandmother was 83 when she passed. And she took a teacup and she could read it. And she
Hmm.
read it. She took my mother's teacup. My mother was pregnant at the time. And she saw a small casket in white, and it was a child. Well, my
Uh-huh.
mother kept us kids in the house thinking one of us is going to get killed. Well, when
Hmm.
my baby sister was born, she was 12 pounds and 20 something inches long. And she died. She was being born breech. So,
Hmm.
so she suffocated in the birth canal, is what happened. They
Jeez.
took her, and when she was in the coffin, they made her coffin. They couldn't buy it, so they made it, and they laced it in white.
Hmm.
My
Wow.
grandma told her that was going to happen, but she didn't know it was that baby.
Wow. Now I have a question for you. Have you ever met a witch or a voodoo practitioner or someone
Like,
who's to the dark arts and seen them? What do they look up? What do you see when you look at them?
they look like normal people.
You don't see the spirits around them? You don't see what they're up to or
I don't see, I don't see nothing around them that they perceive and seeing.
Mhm.
I mean, not like that. I do that. Now there'll be people around them, like their loved ones and stuff like that, or people that's part of them. You know, their lineage,
Mhm.
but not anyone that they brought in to say, "Oh, you're part of my family because I want you to be." Nothing like that.
Yeah, and no other spirits around them cuz I mean
Only
there's
the spirits they got around, they look like you and I. Only
Mhm.
they practice the opposite of what we believe in,
Yeah.
and they just have like I said, people of lineage, like great this or great somebody that might have practiced that in their ancestors.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's who they have around them
I was just asking.
because
Yeah.
they're there to make sure their lineage goes on.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that it continues. Well,
Yes.
can you see the future? Can you tell people's future?
I've done a few people. Now, one time I did make a mistake. I did. I went off of a doctor and I shouldn't have done that. I should have went on what I see. A friend of mine came to me and said her brother had been diagnosed with cancer, and this was 2015.
Mhm.
Said he'd been diagnosed with cancer, and they gave him 6 months. So they brought the brother to my house, and I saw the number 6. I saw the number 6, but I didn't use my head and I didn't use my gift like I should have. I was wrong, and I always say, God, please forgive me for what I did. That could
Mhm.
be 6 hours, 6 days, 6 months. It could be anything.
Mhm.
Well, I went ahead with the doctor and said, yeah, 6 months. So the family's like, oh my God, and I shouldn't have done that because he didn't die till 6 years later.
Oh, wow.
So the 6 was right, but it was 6 years later.
Yeah, that is I hear a lot of people who can foretell the future and stuff like that say, that they stay away from like accurate predictions or number predictions.
Yeah,
They pretty vague about it because people will fixate on that. And then,
and
not
they
only
do.
yeah, they
They
fixate
do because a
on
friend of mine called me last month. He said he's got cancer of the throat,
Mhm.
and he said he's in pain all the time. They won't give him pain medicine, nothing. He's suffering. He said, "How long do I got?" And I said, "Troy, I can't tell you that."
Mhm.
"Yes, you can." I said, "Troy, I can't tell you that." He said,
Mhm.
"Why not?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna put it to you this way: God don't let us know when we're gonna die." And I
Mhm.
thank him for that because if we lived every day of our lives thinking we're going to die because he told us we're going to die this day, a lot of people is not going to live.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
not going to go on and live, and we're not going to grow up and get married, have children, have a life. We're going to sell all of our assets because we think we're going to die tomorrow, and that's not true.
Mhm.
You can live another 2 or 3 years. and you want to enjoy yourself for those 2 or 3 years instead of living every day thinking you're going to die today.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Well,
because
you know, I said, no, I don't know. I don't know. Just like it was brought to my attention, this man came, said they told me I'm going to die of a heart attack. I looked at him, I said, no, sir. Just like that. I said, you're not going to die of a heart attack. Do you know when I'm going to die? I said, no, sir. I didn't say I knew he was going to die. I just said, you ain't going to die of a heart attack.
oh God.
And he didn't. He didn't. They gave him 3 months to live. They said he had 3 months. His
Hmm.
heart was so diseased, there's nothing they could do to save him. He was going to die. They had 3 months.
Hmm.
And I said, you're not going to die in 3 months. That's not going to die of a heart attack. You're not. Your heart is not going to be the one to kill you. He died 6 months later, but
Uh-huh.
his car, his truck, he was going to work.
Hmm.
His truck and the car got linked together from a red light because the drunk driver linked up to his truck. So they
Uh-huh.
pulled off on the side of the road to unhook themselves so they could continue going on to their whatever they're doing. Another
Hmm.
car came out of nowhere, T-boned one car, knocked the tire off of it, flew over the truck and hit him and killed him.
Oh wow. And
I
did
told
you
him he wasn't
see
going to die of a heart failure.
did you see that happening, or you
Yes,
just
ma'am.
knew it wasn't going to be
Yes,
a heart?
ma'am. I
Oh,
saw when he was going to die. I didn't see when he was going to die. I saw how he was going to go.
Well, if you'd have told him that, he'd have probably had his heart attack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
you know how that works.
I had a man living next door, and we were standing at Walmart one night. He was buying him a gallon of vodka, and I saw him dead. I did. I saw him dead, and I told him. I said, man, we got to the car. I said, I hate to tell you this, but I saw a dead man standing there. He said, I'm sure you did. I said, no, I did. I said, man, you're going to die soon. He said, how do you know? I said, just, you're going to go soon, dude. I said, this is not good. I didn't like what I saw. This is not good. He said, how soon? I said, just soon, okay? I don't know how soon, but it's going to be soon. A month later, he was in the hospital. He died. He had cirrhosis of the liver. He was throwing up his liver.
Oh my God.
I
Ooh.
didn't know it, but yeah, he died in the hospital.
Now this was somebody you knew that you saw?
Yeah, my next door neighbor.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I know Dean tells you quit walking up to people and telling them people you don't know. I remember her telling you that. Stop.
Right?
Out of the blue.
Yeah,
I
because Dean tells me sometimes, Danny, don't talk. Danny, shut up. Don't talk. Don't say a word.
I know
And
she
Tony
does.
doesn't have a filter, so I have to remind him.
Well, sometimes it's important that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm trying to save them.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest problem. That's how come I've been in so much relationships because I'm always trying to mend the broken heart. And I get broken.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess people can change their paths. Sometimes when you tell them, you don't like what you see in a head, if they change, sometimes if they change or they can avoid it. Do you ever
Either
get?
change or slow down and give
Yeah.
themselves some more time.
Mm-hmm.
It's free will. It's free will. We all have it.
Well, that's how voodoo and all that works, or hoodoo. And you get these people who say, they go up to somebody and they say, "You're gonna die October 24th at 8 p.m. You're gonna drop dead," and they tell them this, and they every time they see them, "You're gonna die at this time." Then the day comes, and people get all worked up. And that's half of voodoo. It's getting somebody worked up thinking that they're gonna die, and they end up either getting in a bad accident, killing having a home injury, or they actually drop dead because the day is coming. So that's why it's a good. I guess it's kind of good to not just blurt out to people you don't know. Hey,
I knew him, and I was trying to protect him because I seen it coming,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to lose my friend. I didn't want my friend to leave me. I wanted him to stay a little longer,
Mm-hmm.
but he'd already made up his mind. It didn't matter what I told him. He said, "I want to go because my wife died in my lap."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I was behind her when her car went airborne, and she died in my lap." He said, "I want to be with her, so I'll be." He said, "I'm looking for it."
Oh wow. Now I know
Yeah.
that that you help people with this, and you. So I know that people can get in touch with you and can have, I guess you'd call them readings or whatever, with you. So tell us about that. It's not a business, I guess, but it's what you're doing.
Tell them how to
A
find
lot
you
of
on your
people, I quit.
Facebook
I
page.
used to do readings a lot, and I quit doing it because I had a young man, and I say young man, he was 18,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't do readings for nobody unless they're 18 and above. If they're
Uh-huh.
younger than that, I want parents' permission and parents there.
Yeah.
Because young minds are impressionable. But when
Yeah.
he got confrontational with me and said, "Well, you should have do this for free. It was given to you for free." Well, not really, because I messed myself up getting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
You have a
didn't
gift.
realize you're doing it. It's your energy. See, a lot of people don't realize when you're seeing the other side and you got loved ones in front of you and they want to know about their loved ones that passed, they need energy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting energy from you, me, everybody in that room. They're getting energy so they can come to see you and talk to you. You can't see them, so I got to be their voice. And I
Yeah.
can't tell
Well,
their
that's
story
what
unless they tell it to me first.
you're the middleman. That's what a
I'm the
medium
middle
is.
guy. So all that energy is coming off of me, coming off of my people that are standing there listening to this, and they don't realize when they get out in their cars, they're like, "Oh God, I'm so tired." Well, yeah, your
Yeah.
loved ones just used your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They
because
Yeah.
that's
did.
your help
And you
also.
too, and that wears you down as well.
And, well, not only that, we're taking a chance on picking up their sicknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Tell them how to get
Yeah,
in. Tell people how to get a hold of you, Danny, on your Facebook page, Psychic Connections.
there is a lot of people on my psychic connections.
But
I
the
know, but we're
people on the
talking about
radio,
people who might want to
the
get
new
in touch
people.
with you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna use one more. Let me use one more. I'd never go to funeral homes to talk to the deceased.
Mhm.
But I asked Dean one time, I said, "Why, when I go to a funeral home, there's always the dead person standing at the end of the casket?" That's her specialty. I wanted to know.
Gee, I don't know. You think? I mean,
Well, no, Dean put it real nicely. She said, "Well, Danny, when Jesus rose, he rose with his head up, not his feet," which is true. So that was a good way of putting it because I never thought about that. So when I go to a funeral home and I'm sitting there amongst the family, the loved one's standing at the end of the coffin.
yeah.
They want me to tell the family they're okay or whatever, and to let them acknowledge that they're there. And I'm like, I ain't saying nothing right now. If I turn around and I say, excuse me, but your loved one here got something to say, they're going to hang me in the town square.
Out
They
there,
don't want to hear that.
out
So
there
I
in
went to the funeral. No, I went to this funeral
mm-hmm.
of a friend of mine, and she was so swollen. And her family was going, "What? We don't know what she died from." I said, "I can tell you what she died from." Well, she only had back surgery. I said, "Honey, she died of congestive heart failure.
Mm,
She got fluid around her heart, and she suffocated her heart." Is
mm.
that what she died from? I said, "Yeah." I said, "But," and I said, "I'd never do this again, but I had to do this." She was adamant about it. She wanted to talk to her loved ones and I said, so I got her sister. And I said, "You know what I do?" And she said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Get the immediate family only.
Mm.
Nobody else. Immediate family only. And y'all meet me on the back porch at the funeral home right there in, I think it was Delcom. It's where the other Vincent funeral home is." I said, "Meet me in the back porch."
Mm.
I go to the back porch and the whole damn funeral home standing out there. I know that wasn't immediate family, but they were there. So I called her sister. I called one. I could first. I called her sister. I told her what she had to say, and then I called her son that I didn't know she had. I said, "Your mama's got this," and they was breaking in tears. I mean, because everything I was saying was what Becky was saying. Her youngest daughter walks up. She says, I'm her youngest daughter. And I just want to know what my baby's going to be. I said, Becky said a girl. You're going to have a little girl. She
Uh,
said, thank you. Well, she had a baby girl. That was true. I called the boyfriend. This man was shaking in his boots because he had been beating on Becky, drinking all the time, doing all kind of crap. And I
mhm.
guess he thought that's what I was going to say, but I didn't. I kept thinking about Dean. Danny, shut up. So I called. I said, she just has one thing to say to you, and then I'm going to say something. He said, okay. And like I said, this man's looking around, and everybody's standing there, and her son is bigger than a tree. He's standing there like, say something. So I go, she says, the next time you get in a relationship, treat her better.
Well,
That's what I said.
that's a way to walk around it.
And
Tiptoe.
I said, but let me tell you something. Why did you, and this is where the family dropped on the back porch. I said, why did you dig up the dog?
What?
And he looked at me and he looked around and I said, yes. And everybody said, what? I said, he's got her dead dog in the truck on the seat.
What?
He dug up her dog.
For
And
what?
her sister turned and she said, Rufus, she said, Raymond. Not right, it was Rufus. Rufus, did you dig up her dog? He said, yeah, because she said she wanted to be buried with it. I said, no, she didn't. Her sister said, her son said, man, you got my mother's dog on your seat. He
Oh
said,
my!
dog been dead for 3 months.
Oh
Oh
my!
God.
I said, Rufus, she said when the dog died, she wished she'd have had money to cremate it and bury it with her when she died. That's what she said. She didn't say go dig up the dog and put it in her coffin.
Jesus. That's
Well,
some
she said
hillbilly
she want to be
stuff.
buried with it. I said, yeah. I said the woman was only 59 years old when the dog died. The woman don't know what time she's gonna die. She didn't die till she was 61, Raymond. I mean 60, Raymond. Rufus, his
Rufus.
name. I said, Rufus, she didn't die till she was 60, Rufus. She wasn't planning on dying. She just said, I wish I could have it cremated. I wish I had the money to cremate it. That way I could put it in the coffin with me when I die one day. That's what she said. There's a difference between putting it in the coffin was cremated and digging it up, putting it in the coffin when she did.
That must have been a good smell in his car. Huh?
No, I'm telling you, the family said, you're not putting that in my mother's coffin. That ain't coming in the funeral home. But
God,
have you just saw those people's face? They turned.
I
You
guess
got,
I
that
did.
man said, you got my mother's dead dog. He said, yeah. I said, I turned, I
Rufus.
looked at my ex-wife. I said, I never ever going to do this at a funeral again.
Dean told you.
I told you.
But she was adamant, and I loved Becky. That was my Becky, and I wanted to do something good for Becky, and that's what I did.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
like.
because she had a nephew that was missing, and her sister came here right after the funeral. My nephew's missing, and it was in the newspaper. And she said, is he dead? And I said, no, ma'am. The boy's in trouble with the law. He ran away and he's hiding, and the girlfriend knows where he's at. We talked to the girlfriend. We talked to the father. I said, ma'am, they're lying. They know where he's at. I said, a black truck picked this boy up, put his bicycle in the back. She said, you're right. That did happen. I said, I know it happened
Hmm.
because they didn't put none of that in no paper. But yeah, a black truck. It was a store that he went to on his bicycle. A black truck drove up. They had on video because I told the police department. And I said a black truck picked him up, and it's the daddy's truck to the girlfriend. They know where he's at. They're hiding him. That boy was missing in the newspaper. They had it out there for him for 7 or 8 months, and they finally located him.
Wow.
And I was getting phone calls. Is he dead? No, he's very much alive. He's hiding.
Hmm. Wow.
Very much alive.
Well, it's rare to find somebody like you. Such a good psychic and wanting to tell everybody about everything.
Yeah, sometimes I'm a little bit off. I
Mhm.
am. I mean, we're not perfect. I'm a little off,
Mhm.
but I pretty much get to the point of it all as much as I can.
Mhm.
Sometimes the spirits come in to talk, and they're so excited. They got so much to say. They talk so fast, I can hardly keep up with them.
Mhm.
And they sound like when I give names, I'm not good at picking up names because they sound like mice chipping away at the wood.
Oh wow.
But I can describe to the families what they're talking about.
Mhm.
So they get the meaning of what's going on. But the loved ones will always say one thing that only that loved one knows.
Yeah.
That way you'll know I'm talking to that person. And I did that with Dean's friend when she
Gallery
brought him
reading.
here
Yeah.
about his deceased loved one. I gave him just little that she had not told me or said nothing, and I did it real fast. And he just kind of looked at me like, like was somebody telling me? Dean never told me a word about what had happened to his wife or how fast or anything like that.
Mhm.
And I told him exactly because she had something to say.
Mhm.
She had something to say.
Yeah.
So, given that was a good thing.
Yeah. That was good. How how do the dead see the living? Like, do they? And I guess they know they're dead, right? But did they see us?
They see us they see us the way they saw us.
Well, I are they?
The only thing is they want to be here. They want to be able to touch. They want to be able to feel
Yeah.
again in the tent.
Yeah. And that leads to problems because sometimes people won't stay attached. They'll start possessing and pushing out the personality. I mean, did they? I guess they know they're dead, but I mean, a lot
Well,
of people.
some know. A lot of people don't know the deceased. However, they were here. They're on the other side. They still got that charisma about them.
Mhm. Mhm.
If they had a foul attitude, they got it with them. If they had a foul mouth, they got it with them. If they was, if they trying to be holy, they'll take that with them. Whatever they trying to do, they're gonna do that. But if you
Wow.
don't say what they said,
Mhm.
they can get a little obnoxious with me. They get real rudely with me.
Okay, so these people, these spirits are not in heaven. Then they haven't gone into their heaven. They are still
I
around.
know y'all are Catholic. I
Yeah,
do. I
I'm just.
realize that, but
Mhm.
there is no purgatory. I don't know who. I want to meet the person that came up with
You
that. I
were in
want
it.
to
You
meet
were
him.
in it. You committed suicide, and you were in purgatory.
It's
That
not
was
purgatory. That's not purgatory. There's seven. There's seven hells. That's
well.
not
There's a
purgatory.
lot of else, but that was purgatory for that would have been your
No,
purg.
that's not purgatory, honey. That's how you say this? It said it even says when we close our eyes in death is to rest.
Mhm.
Now, I do believe those, and I do know that when the Lord comes to call His home, the ones that died are the ones going first. We're last. The
Mhm.
living is last.
Mhm.
The first people to go are the graves. That's the first.
Mhm.
And only the ones that going with Him are going. So if you think 144,000 out of 12 tribes, that's not a lot of people.
Well, that's the Jews you're talking about. That's not the rest of us.
No, that when he calls everybody, when the earth reign, it says the earth and the heaven, he will reign with us on
Mhm.
a new heaven.
Yeah.
But there's seven types of hells. There's seven types.
Mhm.
There's where there's the and
Levels, 7
no,
levels.
there's seven types of hells, and there's only one heaven.
And one heaven.
Yeah, there's
And,
one heaven. There's only one heaven.
and who goes there?
Whoever,
Wait,
whichever one of us is gonna make it. I pray I go. I don't know.
do any of these spirits you see have they gone to heaven and do they come back and forth?
I don't see my. Let's see this. I don't see my brother or my sister.
Mhm.
I've not seen them. I've seen my son one time, Well,
Mhm.
right after he got killed, and I brought a little bit of his ashes home. The rest of them,
Uh-huh.
we spreaded them. But I saw him one time. He told me he was better there than he was here, and he didn't
Mhm.
have tattoos or nothing on him when I seen him. He was clean. He was
Mhm.
healthy looking. Um, he told me he said, "Don't worry, I'm happier now than I've been in all my life." Exactly what he told me.
Mhm.
So I was good with that because he was on drugs real bad, and I was
Yeah.
good with that because I told him the week before he got killed. I seen him the week before, and I said, "Son, baby, stop the drugs." I said, "You're either going to get killed, somebody's going to kill you, or you're going to get killed." I told him that. He said, "Oh,
Mhm.
you're just exaggerating." I said, "No, baby, I'm telling you, stop the drugs. You're going to get killed, or somebody's going to kill you," and somebody killed him.
Mhm.
If he'd not been on drugs that night, he probably wouldn't be standing on that side of the truck. He'd have used his head and went on the other side of the truck.
Uh-huh.
But he was so messed up on the drugs that he had in his system, I don't think he was thinking in his right mind.
Did you see what was going to happen to him, or you just felt that?
I just saw him getting killed,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I wanted to warn him before it got out of hand. But he was too far gone to listen.
Yeah.
He was just too far gone.
Sorry about that, but well, at
I'm
least
all right where I'm all right. He's not here because he's not in prison. He's not in jail. He's not on drugs, drug out. God knows where, stealing from people and stuff. So I'm all right with that.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, that's got to be it's a mixed blessing if you can see things like that. And I don't know that I would want to know some of that stuff really. Certainly not about my child, but I don't know. How do you? I mean, do you compartmentalize that? Do you, do,
Well, let's
can you
put it this
stop
way. I
seeing?
lost my son for 27 years. He was stolen when he was 2 years old.
Mhm.
It took me 27 years to find him. So when I did find him, he had been abused, molested,
Mm.
strung out on drugs, and a woman that gave birth to one of his offspring had kept him locked up all the time for child support. He tried to
Oh,
get a job and they would take his money so he didn't have money to live on. So he would stay messed up on the drugs and try to get money in his hand under any way he could to survive.
yeah.
And when he did get money, and before he could get money, he was stealing from people, he was breaking in their homes, breaking in their cars, breaking in their shops, stealing their vehicles, their motorcycles and stuff, and redoing them and getting locked up again. And it just was going on. It was an on and on and on and on. So I find it was a blessing. God just took him.
Yeah. Well, I can see how you'd feel that way.
God just took him. He said, "Enough's enough and it needs to stop. And I can stop this." And I thank God for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my baby will never be on drugs. He will never have to steal to eat. He will never steal to do drugs. He'll never have to do none of that, not spend another day in a jailhouse. So my baby's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing all that with us. I know we're coming almost on 2 hours here, so we're about to wrap it up. But Dean, I know you said that Danny has a Facebook page. Danny, can you
Yeah.
tell us about how to get in
Yes, I'm on Afterlife Communications of Louisiana
Uh-huh.
on
Connection.
Facebook. I've got a Facebook under Daniel A. Blake Sr., and it's attached to that. And
Okay.
anybody can go into it and see it. And if they go in and look at, I got a multitude of pictures where the angels are standing, or where the loved ones are like grandfathers are laying on the bed playing with the grandbabies, or loved ones. I put one on just on my Facebook today of people sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner and their loved ones are standing behind them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, they're here. I mean, they
Those
do.
are the people. The loved ones are here. I mean, they're just. I try to tell people, think of it this way: you take a car and you got a motor in it, and that motor makes that car go because that car's got a body. When that
Mhm.
body gets totaled, that motor's still running, but the body can't go nowhere because it can't do nothing.
Mhm.
Same way with us. When we pass, we don't have a body. because the body died. We didn't die, the body did.
Right.
So our loved ones, you can't touch the body, you can't kiss the body, you can't hug the body, you can't talk to the body like you want to, but the loved one can always see and hear and know what you're doing to guide you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's really comforting. And I guess
So
they're
if
not.
if somebody should smell some perfume they recognize, or a cigar or cigarette, or they car keys are being moved, or they feel, I've several people, they get a, even you, Miss Alyne, you've been touched on the right side, not left, the right side, and you have brushed yourself thinking that something's on your face and it's not. That's your mom touching you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I
Yes,
thought it was.
I know. She said to tell you that she's with you and you're doing a good job. She said she's proud of you.
I want to get into that.
No, she says she's proud of you because you're doing what needs to be done.
Yeah. Well, I get.
And y'all are, you and Dean are. I mean, y'all keeping the people to let them know your loved ones aren't gone. They just not here.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, that you would say my mom, and she would say that because a lot of the reason that Dean and I do what we did, or that I do, is because of the trouble that my mom got into following all these, new age practices, and going down to, the French Quarter and having cards done, and not anything against cards. I'm just saying it was stuff that she got immersed in that she shouldn't have got into,
Yeah.
you know, and
But
that.
see, they're on the other side, so they know now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. All her questions have been. I mean, she really, all she ever wanted to do was reunite with her grandfather, or find, prove some way to talk to him, because we always had supernatural around us too. Both sides of my family, there were mediums. Her
Her
grandmother.
grandfather spoiled her.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did do that. And he died when she was 10 years old, and she always missed him. So I think a lot of the reason she got into paranormal, and ESP, and then, and I have an aunt who she got her into yoga, and that's where she started getting off the path into all of that
You brought a
stuff,
spirit. That's why.
thinking that she would somehow reconnect with him, and but it brought a lot of trouble into our lives, and I think it partly contributed to her early death. I mean, she died of cancer because she smoked, but she was sick for a long time, and I think that a lot of it had to do with some of the things that came through. Basically, when she didn't know what she was doing. Supernatural dangers, right, Dean? I mean, it's dealing
It
with.
is. It
Yeah.
is. It is. It is. If you don't know what you're doing, or you're
Hmm.
not careful what you're doing, you can
Right.
bring in some ugly.
Yeah.
Well, when it becomes an obsession, it makes trouble.
Hmm. That
Make
that's
trouble
what it.
for you and people around you.
And then, what she did. I mean, my mother was Catholic, but she got scared. At the, I guess, well, it's a long story, but I'll tell you later, Danny. But she got scared by something that she was doing, and instead of just going back to her faith, which my mama was always telling her, you need to come back to your faith. She went
Yeah.
the whole other way into that
But
Pentecostal, non-denominational, and that just, that was telling her, you're a sinner, and she was going around the house with the Bible,
she
telling me,
went into the abyss, is what she did.
yeah, she should have gone back to her faith, and she went off into this. And she would go around the house and with the Bible and tell them, in Jesus' name, get out of the house. And all I did was make these things mad, angry. I mean, whatever it was, demons is what it was. They tormented me. They tormented our pets. They tormented us as a family. I mean, it was terrible. And, if she had like, if she'd have gone back to her Catholic faith, she knew what she was doing. Okay. But this whole other thing was like, unknown to her, that kind of religion that had
Yeah.
never, that's just me, saying. She went into some unknown waters, and all they did was tell her, send us money, and you're a sinner, you're a sinner, you're a sinner. And these demons laughed. And I believe that, they got on her. She had on you illnesses that were just, and then the dogs would get the same illnesses she got. She had heart failure and she survived it, but the Chihuahua had heart failure and died. She had liver problems. She had almost died from liver problems. The other Chihuahua had liver problems and died. And I grew up with this. I'm watching this, and I told her, you need to leave this crap alone. I believe in ghosts because I've seen them. That's what I would tell. I said, and I kind of believe in astrology because you're trying to figure out how to work that. I said, but also the bullshit, you need to leave it alone. But she knows now. But
Yeah, she knows now, and she's trying to. She tries to get you to, because you gotta. She's saying some words. Hold on.
uh-oh,
She's
here we go. We better.
saying, "Oh goodness, I hate when they jump in like that."
Getting a reading, Alyne, and you didn't know it.
Yeah, really.
He read it. She was there the last time trying to talk when
She was. She's apologizing for a lot of animosity with the children, and
me and
she was. She
yeah.
says children.
I don't know if it's my brother or my kids and his kids. I don't know.
No, there's only two kids.
That's me and my brother. Yeah,
Okay, there's
that's
only
me.
two kids. But she's talking about. She said kids, so she's talking about both of y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
She
he's
said,
old by 8 years, and we both felt like we were like the only
"Yeah,
kid.
but he's got some animosity."
Yeah, he does. Oh,
She
yeah,
says he's angry. She says he's angry.
yeah, he is.
She
I think he.
wants. She wants you to talk to him.
Mm,
She wants you to talk to him. She apologizes. She wants
he.
you to talk to him because she wants peace with him.
Yeah. Well, we're
That was her first male love. You know that, right?
who? Her son.
Yeah.
Mm,
You
that's
didn't know that? Yeah, a mother's first love is her male son, as her last love too.
well. Boy, they fought
You
like
know
cats
why?
and dogs, though.
No, no. You know why? No, no. The reason for that is because when a woman gives birth to a male child, that's her male, and she can raise him and raise him and take him and love him however she wants to, and he'll always stay with his mama.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he did, but they fought continuously.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
That's his first love too. Is her.
That
Well,
was their love
guess I'll have
language.
to talk to him. We're
That's
gonna,
why that's why he took it so hard, and he still does. He
yeah,
thought he thought she betrayed him, and she did. She's saying to please talk to him and bring it out
I'll do it.
and and get him to forgive her.
He don't pay any attention to me though. He
Right.
thinks I don't know nothing.
They don't understand, hun. They don't understand. They just think we can work miracles on this side.
He thinks I'm crazy, my brother, for for writing about
Well,
all
we
this.
are a little crazy, but it just goes
No,
with
but
the territory.
you know, he's an old boomer. He don't believe anything that he can't see, touch, feel. He's like, I guess I can talk to him, but he'll just get mad.
Okay.
I'll talk to him.
Well, just give him some kind of hints around about mom and try to squeeze him out without letting him know she said anything.
I will. I do. I think I know what you're talking about. Some things
She
that he.
loves y'all though. She loves y'all, and
Well,
she's
no.
with both of y'all, and she's with her grandkids. She's been playing with her grandkids since they was born.
My daughter often has dreams about my mother and my dad. He had a dream about her. I'm sorry, she had a dream about her just like this week, I guess, last night or recently. So I know my mom's around. I
Yeah.
know she's around, and I think I know what the animosity is. It's not just him.
Well,
There's
she thinks y'all can work miracles on this side, and you can fix it.
well, I hope so. I know my mama is around. My dad's mother. I know she's here a lot of the times, and
She's told you.
yeah, I know. Well, who, my mother? Oh, yeah. Both of them
Nah,
did. Yeah.
your grandma.
Of course she spoiled, but she spoiled my brother worse. But I mean, that's what grandmas are for. You know? My mom used to
Yeah,
get
but
mad
you miss
about,
your grandma more. She said.
wait, what?
Your grandma miss. You say your grandma. You miss her more.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. That's the first person I want to see. How
She
often
said,
have I
"Don't
said,
worry." She said, "Don't worry, I'm here."
I don't mean it to be mean to her. I just it's she survived. My mother died, but my mama lived another well, I want to say like 7 or 8 years. She lived
Well,
to
you
see,
know, when we pass, they come and get us, whoever we want.
yeah, I know. Oh, I know that. I mean, I
So it's not gonna be just your grandma. Your grandma and grandpa's coming.
wait, what?
Your grandma
Yeah,
and grandpa.
yeah, Papa. He died when I was 6 years old, and my mama and dad thought I was too young to know, to know about it, and they didn't take me like to the funeral. They didn't tell me until it was all over. So I really resented that as I got older. Not, in a way that it caused any problems, but it was a resentment that I wish they had told me because he used to call me his little China girl. I was very close to him, but I didn't have a long time with him. Like my brother, he had more time. He's 8 years older than me. So I've often said that I want to see him when I go, if I'm going to the place where they are. I don't know. If I'm going
It
somewhere.
says it's. I've read where it says we're all gonna see each other. We're all gonna remember each other and know each other
Mhm.
are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So yeah,
I
him and
know that is
Mama,
so
because
cool.
Mama was with me when I had, I got pregnant. I got married. I got pregnant. She was there to for the babies and stuff. So she was like a mother to me after my mom. But she always was. But after my mom passed, I really leaned on her, like a mother. And she got to see her great grandchildren. My mama never saw any of, my brothers and my kid. So except from the other side. So, but yeah, I've thought about it, and I told my mom, don't be mad, but I really want to see my mom.
You
And then
will. They're gonna,
see
they're gonna be
Elizabeth,
there.
and I want to go see Queen Elizabeth the First. I want to go back to the Middle Ages, and I want to see Greg Lake. And that's it.
Right.
I've got a date waiting for me on the other side. Not too soon.
Okay.
I don't want to die. No.
I don't see
I,
anything too soon.
how?
I don't see nothing too soon with you.
Good. That's the well. That's good.
Yeah, somebody told me you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
live
need to
till
get
you're
with
90,
you. Wait, what,
90
Dean?
something years old. Somebody told me you're gonna live till you're 90 something years old. I said,
You?
don't curse me like that.
That's
The
what my
Dean's
daughter said.
sister's gonna come get her. Dean's sister's coming to get her and bring her back.
Oh,
She
well, yeah,
misses
Yeah.
her.
I know. I know she misses her. Somebody said you're gonna be 100 years old. I said what? I said
No.
before I make 100 years old, the world's gonna end. Jesus gonna come back. I said no. I don't want to be wobbling around here at 100 years old. My gosh. Oh, but
Yeah,
Danny, I
but,
worry about my
if
daughter.
the people want to get readings and stuff, they have to come to me to with seriousness, not playing and doubting, and they do that to me a lot. They have a lot of negativity, and I can't feed off of that.
Uh huh.
It
Yeah.
just messes with me so bad. Unless if they're not serious and they got positivity coming with them, then
Hmm.
that negativity brings in the bad spirits, and that's the ones that want to fight with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes those bad spirits that come with them are not related to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They
And
just
that's
come
the one
because.
thing I want to make clear to the public is that I don't get just y'all spirits. Bad spirits can't sneak in
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they
because
can.
there's negativity there, and they're going to sneak in where there's negativity because they like that. They like trouble. They like war. They like all that because that keeps them going.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's what Dean
Friction
and
is
I talk about
natural.
all the time.
Yeah.
All
So
the time.
yeah, if I'm going to do a reading for somebody, I need their positivity and I need their all out. Yes, I want to talk to my loved one, and don't give me no trouble.
Mm-hmm. No. Well, wherever they see a lot of times where they see energy going on, it's like, like when you pass a wreck on the highway, you can't help but look. So they say, what's going on over there, energy wise? And then they go over there by the good spirits. And then the next thing you're picking up on them as well. I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of like piggyback, but they're attracted to what's going on out of curiosity. And some of
uh,
them might not be bad, but then some bad ones see that too. They see
yeah,
that going on, and then they're drawn to it to feed on that. So that's, yeah, I mean, that's well
yeah.
known. like that. That's why you have to be your spirit guide, and you have to be protected, and everything.
Yeah.
Be in a different state of mind than worried about all the negativity and everything. So, well, we're almost at 2 hours with Mr. Danny. And I love what I'm hearing. I never had a chance to really talk to you about everything, but you're amazing. I honestly, you're amazing. That's all I can say. I've seen psychics. I mean, my mom used to have them all the time. Got her into trouble and all this other stuff. But you are an amazing psychic, Danny. You really have a
Yeah.
gift. I know you're helping people too.
I
So
try.
yeah, yeah. Well,
I try to do it for the closure and to give them closure and give them peace of mind, and that's all.
peace of mind, yeah, because like you say, when somebody's dead, they're not here anymore. They're and it's the one place that most of us can't talk to anybody. You can't pick up a phone and call them. You can't go see them, or I mean, you can go to the grave, but there's nothing there,
Right.
except and other spirits, other
Right.
feeding on the dead. So
Yes.
you I mean, yeah, and there's so many charlatans out there, but you're not one of them. I mean, you're
No.
amazing. Obviously, my mom's been trying to come through to you for a while. So last time I saw you, you told me about my mom. So,
Every time I talk to you, she comes around.
well, good, good. I can feel her sometimes. Like right now, I think I can. So, but we're
Yeah.
gonna put your all your information into the description of this video so everybody can check it out when it goes live on YouTube. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Oh no. Just y'all enjoy your holiday and have a happy Thanksgiving and bless you.
My daughter wants a reading from you. Not now.
Okay.
Not right now.
I'm not going to New Orleans.
No, no, over the phone.
Oh.
We could do it
Oh.
over the phone if you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, but not right now.
Okay. All
She's in
right.
the background. She's watching. Well, thank you so much. You have a great Thanksgiving.
And you too. Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you soon, Danny.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 All right, Miss Dean. You need to be
Wow.
a relative of yours. You're around him all the time. How is
Yeah.
that?
Huh?
How is that for you? Like, other than telling him shut up and don't tell, shut up. I
We
mean,
have
he
a good
must come up,
time.
huh?
Yeah. Me and Danny have a good time. We have a close relationship.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can't help but like him.
Oh yeah.
Although I remember an incident. We were going to the convention in Lake Charles, and you were like 3 rooms away in your house. You were way in the back of your house, or that you were living in when you were married. And Danny was eating a piece of pie on a plate. You remember that? He was
Yeah.
eating this pie, and there's a scene in the movie Crimson Peak where Jessica Chastain is feeding oatmeal to the girl she's trying to kill, and she's scraping the spoon along, and it's doing that. And he was just slightly doing the little
Uh-huh.
scree. I heard you from the back. Stop it.
Yeah. My misophonia was all active. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And he was like, he was just totally wrapped up in eating that piece of pie. He didn't have a psychic moment where he knew Dean was about to torque, like shut up and stop at the pie. So it's too funny. But I don't know if I could handle somebody, telling me, who's standing right by you right now? No, no, I don't know. I don't want to know. Big
Yeah.
old
He tells
scaredy
me all
cat.
the time that my grandmother follows me everywhere.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're used to it, and I'm sure she does, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that. But I got to tell everybody, he was spot on about my mama and all that, and what my mom said. That because I have said often that she's the first one. I hope she comes gets me when it's time for me to go, but not anytime soon. I hope.
Hope not. Yeah.
So, well, that'll wrap it up for tonight's show. That was great. We're going to have Danny back on.
Yes.
Tell
Yes.
everybody now. It's called Psychic Connections. Is that it? Is
Yes.
that?
It's afterlife connections.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm writing psychic down for something else. Afterlife Connections, and he's on Facebook.
Yes.
And his name is Daniel Blake, if anybody's looking to contact him there on Facebook. So, and we're going to wrap it up here for the Thanksgiving holiday edition. So, this has been the Supernatural Substation with Alyne Pustanio and Miss Bernadine Richardson. And we will be back with another guest next week. So, like us, share us, subscribe to our channel. There's more coming. And we hope to see you and talk with y'all soon. Have a good
Happy
one, Dean.
holidays. You
Have,
too.
all right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.